I'd like to welcome everyone to the September edition of this Authors Forum. It's a forum. It's a forum of inspiration, a forum of engagement. It's a forum of development where we inspire one another. I want to tell you that I'm not an expert in book writing. I'm a learner. So I'm still learning. And for 20 years, I never wrote a book. My first book was written in the year 2000. And after that, 2003, I wrote two books, year 2000 and year 2003, when I was in medical school. But for 20 years, I never wrote a book. And it bothers me. Those 20 years, it really bothers me. Even when people were asking for the second book, that when are you going to upgrade it and all that, it really bothers me. Until one day, when I was having a session in Uganda, at a virtual space over the Zoom, and I declared to them that the book is coming out. I just announced it. So because I made it public, it becomes an obligation for me to do. I remember the first time I talked to my publisher, she's right here, and about it in an event in 2019. So she explains to me the process, and it's obvious to her that I wasn't ready. So when I reached out to her year 2023, and I began to ask for the process, that's when the readiness began. So you're welcome. Today, I invited her on purpose, and she is going to speak, and she's going to have a Q&A session. What she'll be talking on is on self-publishing. Yeah, self-publishing, because a lot of people, they want big publishers like Maswell Leadership, and name the name, just name any big publisher, Thomas Nelson, to publish their books and all that. And I always tell people, why don't you start with something? Start with something you can do. Then when you have that, I remember Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey self-published his book, Financial Pitch University. He said he was carrying it all around with him inside the trunk until he now got a deal with a publisher to now publish the book. So you can start with something first. And when you start with something first, then that becomes an evidence of what people can see that, yes, you've done something. Because many big timers, they want to work with, they want to see what you've done. Yeah. So without wasting time, I'd like to introduce Pastor Temitope. She's my sister. She's not just my publisher. She's my sister. Her elder sister is my classmate. So I always tell people that don't be afraid to work with him. I know her very well. So I know her husband, I know her whole elder sister, because the thing is, it's very important to know people, so she is legit, she is credible. So I invite her to come and share with us how we both work together, and we were able to do 7 books in 1 year. Is that right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We did 7 books in 1 year, and and that was it. So I'm going to give you the floor. So Pastor Temitope, over to you, and share with us on self-publishing. She will share for 10 minutes, and there'll be a Q&A session for 10 minutes if you want to ask a live question. Thank you.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Koku, for inviting me to this meeting just to talk about self-publishing. I count it an honor to be here to share some of the tips and the process that I walked through Dr. Koku to publish a record amount of books within a short time. I must say that Dr. Koku is one time that is very driven, and he was ready. Like he mentioned earlier when he spoke about it, he didn't have his manuscript ready. Some things were still pending. But when he was ready, boy, he was ready, right? And he was back to back. And I was able to help him publish the books in record time. So here is what I would say. I first of all want to encourage you, if you are thinking of writing a book, that it is a good intention, and I don't want you to draw back on it or think that it's not worthwhile, and don't let the fact that you don't have a big publisher signing you up. Don't let that restrict you, because you have a message, you have a voice, you have something you want to share. And try with traditional publishing through that hectic process, and you weren't picked. Sometimes some people, excuse me, feel so depressed about it and it kind of halts them. But there's always another way, and you can self-publish your book with your drive, with your message. Your audience will still hear. So it's first of all, the process starts with first of all getting your manuscript ready. And that is where the beautiful work is. It will involve rewriting, researching, getting all your materials in to get your first draft. And then the next step will be editing. You can also try to figure, sometimes some people already have a title for their book. They already have a concept of how the book cover will. That is great. But while you're working on your manuscript, you can also be doing that. So how I worked with Dr. Koku was that he had his manuscript ready. He had the editing done. Most of the time when I help people lay out their books for printing, get it set up on Amazon, I will also look out for some and suggest if I identify some mistakes and will help with also designing the book cover. I usually do two drafts or samples if you don't have any idea of what you want the book cover to. And we keep refining to satisfy. Of course, you're allowed to share with your trusted community and get input from them as to what book cover you want, or even the title, or even your manuscript. So once your manuscript is correct, it's done, it's edited, your book cover is already done, you've made those choices. You have two options. You can upload, or you can get it available on Amazon or any other book publishing website, or you can decide to have your own website. Some of my clients prefer to contact their audience without any interference from Amazon, because as you know, Amazon is a good platform, but they will get their cut, they will get their percentage of the sales. So I have some clients who say, well, I want to hold off on Amazon for now. I want to get my audience. I have my events. I have my opportunities.
Yeah, so and Pastor T, can you adjust your audio? Yeah, it's going in.
It's going in and out. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have opportunities to I'm going to try to see if I can switch to my earphones. That'll work better. Let's see.
Just a minute, she'll be back. Yeah. And while we waiting for her to come up with the audio, I just want everyone on this platform to be encouraged. This is a platform for encouragement, because the thing is, we set up this platform for accountability partnership. I made a statement on this platform that before this month, I'm going to finish the book I was working on. Guess what? All through yesterday, I was working on that book. I had a meeting around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After that meeting, I was working on that book. And I wasn't done until 12 midnight. And the whole book was 11 chapters. I've never written that much chapters before. And that book was finished. So that's the beauty of accountability partnership. I shared one of those things in that book. This forum is an accountability partnership. Because when we don't account, we can't amount. Because I know that in all good conscience, I can come to today's meeting without finishing that book. So all that is meant for me to do in the book is the epilogue. and then finishing touches to go over it again. But the push to finish that book was because I made a statement that before this meeting, I'll finish that book. That's the power of this authors forum. Okay, Pastor T, we ready for you?
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Clearly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah. My apologies for
it's okay,
that.
It's
so
okay.
I was just saying that I was encouraging you to start the process, and the first step is getting the manuscript ready. I don't know if it's possible for me to share my
Yes, you can.
screen.
Yes, you can share, please.
Okay, because I have a step-by-step process that I built, and this kind of shows what my process is like. Some of these 8 steps can be done simultaneously, but usually I would have an initial meeting with you just to get an idea of what you would like to achieve with your book. And then we work to complete your manuscript. You complete the manuscript, you submit it. Sometimes I have some people say they have completed, in quotes, their manuscript, but when I review it, I ask them to go add some more content, go do some more things just to make it more refined. Then we can look at the terms and agreements, what you would like to achieve. Some people want to go just electronic. Some people just want to have an event. Some people want to, so it really depends on what you would like to achieve. If you would like to do a mix of everything, and then we would settle the agreement, and we are agreed on what you want. And then we go on to editing the manuscript. Now, some people already have preferences as to who they want to edit their manuscript, or they already did a good job themselves, so they don't need me to do editing. So we can skip that and then go to the page layout, which means I'm getting the pages ready for printing. How you have them on your Google document or your Word document is not how they will be printed. So we need to get them in the right format, the right sizing, the right margins, make them ready for printing. And then we can do the book cover design. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes I've even done book cover designs like even early in the process. I find that when you have the book cover design, seeing that image, it can keep you accountable and it can keep you motivated, right? So I have a team that works with me, and if you already share your concept, we work together. I can start sharing drafts or samples of the cover design while I'm doing the page layout. And once everything is completed, you've reviewed the page layout, you review the cover design, there would be a sign off, you're okay. We upload it to Amazon, we send to the printers, we get it delivered to you, and that's it. I am currently working on a plan for marketing. It is out of transparency. I believe that I've just focused mainly on producing the books, but I do see that there is a need for marketing. Some people, they just don't know how. Some people just need a little bit of motivation. So that's something I'm working on offering later, hopefully next year, to try to get people to sign up on marketing, get their books bought, get them into as many hands as possible, get their impact and reach more people than their family or their small group. And I'm hoping that I would, be able to deliver on that soon. So in the nutshell, this is typically the process I go through. There might be some movement around, sometimes some people, have new things they want to add on. We can always work with that. Yes, I'm quite flexible.
So let's take a Q&A, and because I believe that, in fact, I'm so happy that you are able to share this structure with us. This is very clear, because when people see the process and the what it takes, it makes the journey very easy because there's clarity and people can now work with it. Yeah, you can stop sharing the slide,
Okay,
so that we
sure.
can get people right now. So let's have yes, Coach Grace has a question. Please, if you don't mind, let's turn our video on, and just this is a matured platform, and just so that we can know that it's not the Holy Ghost that is asking question, that it was a real person that is asking question.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm on my little mobile phone here. So thank you, Pastor Temi Tokwe. So I wanted to ask you. You did say that we don't need to have even a book cover, a final book cover, or even a title. We should just keep writing, okay? However, what if I cannot get stuck? Because you're saying that we must have all the manuscripts, everything, but some of us, we've started for a long time. We've been writing a little here, writing a little there. And I'm in this author's forum to get over that.
Okay.
So how can you help me so that I can, because I feel when I think of a manuscript, I think of this huge, lots of words. What's a manuscript? What's the minimum number of words or letters or whatever? So sometimes I just get overwhelmed. I was like, I'm not getting any. So what can you do to help us before we get this manuscript like you? How do we get it?
Okay, so that's usually what I would cover in the initial meeting with you. I believe that before you wrote a book, you had an idea of what you wanted to achieve. You probably had an idea of what you wanted to achieve. So we'll walk you through that. Now, what is getting you stuck? Is it that you seem to be lacking motivation, or is it that you seem to be lacking time, or you just don't know how to proceed from one chapter to another? I believe that's what this platform is all about too. I believe that you can share exactly, okay, this is where I'm at. I finished 3 chapters, but there's this part that isn't really jiving. How do I go to the next thing? Because here's the thing. Most times when you start, you have an intention. You want to, maybe a book is to talk about your life experience. Maybe a book is to get people motivated to do something. So you already have the conclusion in your mind. Most times when you get a writer's block is you're trying to connect the dots. And so, but talking through it will help you. And maybe also, I would say sometimes you need to go back a little bit to what you've written. Now, if you want to just continue right in the middle, especially if you haven't written for a while, it may seem very foreign to you, but you might need to take a step back to what you've written, back to your why, back to the reason, and then you can trace your steps. It's almost like sometimes when we forget something, right? What happens for me sometimes is I go back to where I was, and then I'm like, okay, this is what I need, or this is what I remember. So you might need to take a step back, review what you've written, see how it flows with you, and then you would be able to continue. And if you still have some issues with that, talking to your community, talking to me, we'll be able to give you some ideas.
Well, and let me just give you a take about that. Because one thing I just realized that first of all, I want to really appreciate and everyone is special on this platform. But I want to appreciate Pastor Tony Lewis. This is a man that took me under his wings when I came to America. He mentored me and he's still mentoring me. So Pastor Tony, you are welcome, sir. Pastor Tony just wrote a book. So Pastor Temi Tokwe was the same person that worked on Pastor Tony's book, Pastor Tony Lewis. He worked on his book, and that book will be released on my birthday. Wow, September 21 in Philadelphia. And we will ask Pastor Tony to share a little bit of the experience he had with because I want everybody to know that I brought Pastor Tope right here, that he makes things easy. The reason is this: when you have somebody, you doing this something like that, you have someone that knows the field, the industry, it makes everything easy. Instead of you trying to figure out those things, you can easily consult her. So working with her has made everything easy for me. I know someone that said, well, I don't need anybody. I can do it myself. Well, I'm not that kind of person. I need someone because I need an expert that knows what they are doing. So if you want to keep the flow of whatever book you're writing, and I'll tell people this, write only what you are passionate about. Passion is the key to flow. And another way to sustain your passion is talk about what you are writing. And also, you need a gym. A gym is where you exercise that skill. So, for instance, the book I'm writing now, I wrote 7 series on it on LinkedIn. What I call ATM, a teaching Monday. I already wrote it down. So yesterday, it was easy for me to finish up that book because I already have materials. So it is the thing that you are doing consistently that you can now put in a book. And I have a lot of content. I create content a lot. So the more you do, the more you exercise yourself by seeking for where to serve the same content. In fact, that book's, the book I'm concluding right now, I spoke about it on the podcast. They invited me to a pod. They said, what do you want to speak about? It's the same book, because I knew that since that's what I'm writing about, the more I talk about it, the more I keep on having ideas. And when I'm reading, anytime I see anything that is related, we need to create what we call an idea farm. Idea farm is a document where you put everything related. In case you find any quotes, any inspiration, any stories, you put it straight into that document so that you won't lose it. So those are the kind of things that keeps it flowing. So you have to make sure that you write that book. So write it one line at a time, and it can be done. Yeah. Did we answer your question, Coach Grace?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I guess so someone like Pastor Tokwe will then help with, because I'm just writing. Not looking at, oh, this is chapter 1 or chapter 2. I'm just writing. It's going to be one big mess.
Of course, you need to have chapters for your book. And you need to have chapters for your book. But if you need her, she can guide you in that area. That's where she comes in. Yeah, she's a consultant. Yeah, she can put you through. But the main thing is put all your stuff together so you can now commune with her. She can now help you to arrange it and all that stuff. Yeah. But one thing I want you to know, Coach Grace, once you do one, you will have a framework for doing others. That's something I find out. Yeah. The first one is the hardest. But once you do that one, you have that muscle to set up. It's the same platform, the same framework. For instance, the book I'm doing right now, the former book that I just finished, I just bring all the structure. So I just tweak it and fill up the gap. Yeah, it's all the principle of rinse and repeat. Yeah. Okay.
I like the idea of the ideas farm. Yeah, absolutely. Really, yes.
Yeah. I can send more information. I'll send a YouTube on you a YouTube podcast on that. One of the things that help us on this platform is what we called the Book in You podcast by the Maswell Leadership. In fact, the guy in charge of it that moderates that podcast, the host there is the guest there is Dr. Tim Elmo. I met the guy that was really responsible for that podcast, the host. So I talked with him. So I'm gonna get him on this platform in the last quarter. I'm gonna bring him over here, so he will share with us, and we're gonna get Dr. Tim Elmo here too. Okay, let's go to Coach Jean. Thank you, Coach Gray, for your question, because Pastor Tokwe have just few time with us, and Coach Jean, what's your question, please?
My question is concerning Amazon and distributing on Amazon. Do you just recommend that you do that kind of like self-publishing? You self-distribute, you set up a 3P. What's your process on fulfilling orders on Amazon when your book is ready?
I think I was muted. My apologies.
Oh, that's okay.
So you can, once your files are ready, we will upload them on Amazon for you. And Amazon will take the order and they'll fulfill it. They'll print the book for you. They have that service to print the book and fulfill it for you.
Okay.
That is one way. Another way is you can have some copies downloaded or printed by Amazon. So Amazon has author copies whereby you can purchase your books at a lower price than what is listed on Amazon. And if you have an event or things like that, you can then sell it directly to whoever you know you are, whoever your audience would be at your event.
Yeah.
But some people, if you're not going through the Amazon route, you can have it listed. Maybe if you have a website, you have a coaching platform, or you have another way, you can have your own website, but you will have to fulfill your orders. So you'll take the orders through your website. You have to post it yourself and do that. Some people like that because they have a personal touch with their audience, right? So it's
but no, thank you so much, and thank you for all your insight, and your process is very helpful. This is my first venture as an author, so I'm just very grateful for not only you but everyone else that's sharing today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And Pastor Tucker, before you go, and I would like Pastor Tony Lewis to share quickly in 3 minutes his experience with you and his new book that is just published. Pastor Tony, you can unmute yourself, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. First of all, I want to thank God and thank Dr. Mike and Pastor Toby for really, it's been a good experience, and she's well versed and well relatable to assist in this whole process, because I know calling up and we communicate back and forth through phone, through texts, and it's been a good experience. And I would say that because otherwise I would not have had this whole process, especially Dr. Mike. He actually for us has the insight after 7 books. As a matter of fact, I got he actually, it's almost like in the Bible where it speaks about God formed and then God filled. And once the form, like you said, is there, then therefore the fill is there. And then he not only had the form and the fill for the books, he had the form of the person to even go to help deal with the more fill to be able to finish the process. And I've found it very, very helpful and beneficial. So I would recommend definitely Pastor Toby to others who very relatable, very efficient, and I appreciate all that she has done in going through the book that the Lord gave me to write was guidelines. And that's one thing that for us how, and even too, the other sister talked about for certain things. Pastor Toby said one time, well, you may have more content on another. I have, instead of calling them chapters, I call them guidelines. And I had 12 of them. And she said, well, you have more, and she gave some counsel, and she stated that you have more content on some guidelines than you do others. She said, would you want to put more? And I said, oh, yes. And that was a good insight that she gave that allowed me to even add more to it. And I've gone back before and added some more, and I gather I almost got overloading content. And I gather, but I appreciate her patience and working with me to deal with those things. So that's where it's been a good time, and I appreciate the end product.
Yeah, that's good. You know what? I worked with Pastor Tony for 10 years at the Salvation Army, West Philadelphia. He talked about this book before his rewirement. And not retirement, rewirement, because he's on rewirement right now.
Yes, sir.
And the way he talks about the book, and I know that the book needs to be out. So when I start working with Pastor T, and I realized that there's a system, and that's what I'll be sharing with you today about the system, because the system is key. If you want to succeed once, you don't need a system. All you need is a goal. But if you care about succeeding repeatedly, that's where a system comes in. And the word system is an acronym. It means save yourself some time, energy, and money. And that's what system does. So, and I'm going to release Pastor Tope right now because she's at work. She just take time to be right here. But with our permission, if you need a contact, I'll be glad to share with you. Because let me tell you something. When you have someone that is easy to work with, I remember one time, I want to get the book in Florida. In fact, the first book that I did last year, she also has a system for printing, and she's so networked that she has printer in different places that can print for her. So like I said, she's big about solving problems. We run into a problem, but the way she handled it, she told me that she want to go to Florida to solve that problem. I said, no. Let's see a better way. That is our commitment. So I want to encourage you and listen, and a price doesn't break the bank. So this is not about selling. This is all about serving. I wanted to tell you, if you have that desire, I want to recommend her, because doing 7 books within 1 year, you need someone that is in your corner. You got me? That can really help. And she's someone that I really know, not as a business person. I know her very well. I know her husband, I know her sister, and I know that she will do you the most good. Yeah. So Pastor T, we're going to thank you for coming. We would like to release you. And
thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, please share my contact information. I look
you,
forward to
Pastor
hearing from
T.
you.
I will.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Pastor T.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
I will.
Pastor T.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
Okay, bye. Thank you. Okay, so now back to what we have today about blueprints for building an effective system for book writing. But before we go to that, we want to go to our accountability session. So our accountability session is, and there's something we talk about. So we're going to start with Coach Remy. So there's a book you are working on. So how far with your book? This is what we do right here. We put people under a microscope. We challenge you about what you're doing. This is not a forum for philosophers. It's a forum for practitioners. And even if you have finished a book like Pastor Tony, we want to challenge you. What are you working on now? That means...
I'm working on something now. I got another book right now that I'm working on.
Okay. We coming to you, Pastor Tony. We're going to get it. Because the thing is this, John Maxwell said, you need to always be going from something to something. Once I wrap up this book now, I'll add 4 more books to work on before this year ends. And that's how it's supposed to. And I learned that from Papa John Maxwell. He said he's always writing 3 books at a time. You see, this is what brings about inspiration when we have people at that level that are still in the game. So we have to stay in the game. This is why we made this forum. It's not for self-promotion. It is a forum to create the inspiration to fulfill our aspiration. Without inspiration, our aspiration is going to experience aspiration. So we all need inspiration to fulfill our aspiration. So this is the forum for inspiration. So Coach Remy, accountability time now. So this is what we call OMAR, 1 minute accountability report. So we want to get accountability report. Tell us what's the progress about your book and when. Pastor Tony taught me something. Until you say when, you've not said anything. And tell us when is the book coming out. So I'm going to be big on when today. So tell us your accountability report. You are on Plasma TV. It's being recorded. So we're going to remind you. Tell us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. What a wonderful opportunity to be part of this group. My accountability is that I'm stuck on stories because I'm a factual, analytical person. So I tell you straight what I need to tell you. But because I want it to be easy read for my audience, I'm combing through to give relatable stories. So that is still the journey I'm on, trying to retrain myself that everybody doesn't just get it by just telling it straight. You need to weave it into a storyline. So that is what has kept
So
me.
what help do you think you need to be unstuck with the stories?
I just need, I believe I need time to just take a chapter at a time in quietness and just farm out my own stories, because this book is the checklist, 12 skills successful moms prioritize to prepare teens for success. So it has to do with my story, my journey, because for it to be relatable to moms, they have to know that you have walked that journey as well. So farming my stories to include without necessarily throwing my children's life under the bus by writing about them is what I'm working on right now.
So when do you want to bring forth those stories? When? What's your timeline?
Wow.
Yes, see,
That's
without
a tight spot. Okay, well,
without deadline, you can make headline. And if you don't have a timeline like that, if you don't have a kind of a time frame, you won't do it. That's what it applies to everything that we do. We need to have a timeline.
okay, so I'm sentimental about my birthday in March, so I'm gonna shoot for March 2025.
So you want us to give you March 25? That's 6 months to this time. You think that's not too long for this book?
You know why I need that? Because this book is part one. I have the following book is already also in progress. The first one is the checklist. The next one is the blueprint. So I'm trying not to duplicate stories.
Okay.
So my goal is to finish the book, both of them at the same time, so that the stories don't repeat themselves in both books. So that is why I need that timeline. So ideally, I'm working on 2 books at the same time, because
so your birthday is March what?
March 30th.
So before that time, this book will be out.
Yes.
So that means 2 books will be out March 30th.
No, let the first one go first. The confirmation is just that writing the 2 at the same time is that so I don't duplicate the stories, but let one be ready.
Yeah, I thought you want to give back to twins by March next year.
It's possible, but that's not the goal. Yeah.
Okay, so the goal is just one first. Okay,
Yes.
It's okay. So we're going to take a single thing. Yeah. Okay, thank you for giving us that book report. So we're going to be reminding you. And please, if you need any help, let us know about it. But I'll share a content on stories from the Book in You podcast. And they just prepare the content. So I'll get it across to you. And that'll further help you. And I'll recommend, there's a book I read about stories that stick. And what's the name of this lady now? The author. She just came out with a new one called Story Hedge. So I want to recommend that book to everyone. It's called The Story That Sticks. Let me look for the name of the author. Stories That Sticks. It's a very good book. And that because story is very important. Her name is Kendra Hall. Kendra Hall. She's an expert in stories. Because stories, and I want us to note 3 things. We need points for the head. Points includes, statistics, any kind of intellectual stuff you're sharing. And we need pictures for the heart. That's where stories comes in. So stories paint pictures. And then we need,
Mike,
yes?
sorry, the name Kindra, is that like a
Kendra Hall.
K-I-D?
Kendra,
D-R-A.
Kindra. Kendra Hall.
Okay, and the H-U-L, H-U-double-L, the surname.
No, yes. Yeah, Hall. Yeah, like an assembly hall. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, like a hall.
She just wrote a new one now called The Story Edge. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna get the new one that she just wrote. Anything about story tickles me. And you need, when you talk about stories, you need like 3 or 4 kind of stories. Number 1, your own story. Your own story is very, very is number 1. your own story. And I learned that from Timo. I'll share the Tim Elmo shared that in the podcast. I'm gonna let everybody have it. And if you're on this, if you are watching us on Zoom, and just ask me what about the content that you talk about, because stories is very important. In fact, the book I'm writing right now is my best book so far. I tell us so many. I share my personal story, my personal stories. So you need your personal stories. Number two, you need a true story that is not your personal story. So your story is the first one. The second one is your own story, a true story that is well known. So that, I mean, maybe something that is in the news, maybe you writing about an athlete, you're writing about something that many people are familiar. So the second one is a true familiar story. So your own story, number one. Number two, a true familiar story. So the third kind of story that you need is a true but unfamiliar story. So the first one is your own story. That's your superpower. The second one is a true familiar story. So like you, Coach Remy, with the book you wrote, you don't have to put all the pressure to write about your own experience. Get a permission from one of your friends to write their story. So the second one is a true familiar story. Then the third one is a true but unfamiliar story. For instance, in my new book I'm working on now, I have a friend of mine, we went to medical school together. His story was even why I reconnected with him. I lost contact many years back, but I reached out to him. He lived in Kansas. I got his story. He had a good story for that book. And he was excited to put, if I would have finished the book a long time, but because I have to wait for him. So it is true, it is unfamiliar. Not everybody knows him, but it is true, unfamiliar story. And the last one is fiction. Fiction. And Dr. Tim Elmo said, fiction is on true story, but it's better than, a fiction is better than no story. It's better than no story. So those are the kind of first story that I want you to be aware of, that you can use and to add to your stuff to make it juicy. And I've used stories of Home Depot's founder, Benny Marcos. And that's why as I'm reading books now, I'm looking at the books from what I'm reading now. What stories am I inspired on to add to my book? So those are the 4 stories that you need. Yeah, but I'll share the podcast. Dr. Tim Elmo did a good job. Okay, let's go to the next person. Let's go to Dr. Ayo. You know, I'm going to put you on the spot. Dr. Ayo is one of our keynote speakers.
Hey, Doc, before you go, you said there were 3 things: the head, point, hard point. Pictures.
Okay, yeah. The 3 points to note is we need point for the head. When you are writing, you need to make a point for the head. That means the head means the intellect. You know, point appeals to our intellect, to our mind. Then we need pictures for the heart. You know, that appeals to our emotion. You know, pictures, that's when we tell stories, you know, stories that have emotional impact. And then we need practice for the ends. Practice. That means we want to give people steps, you know, that they can apply. Steps that they can apply, practical steps, and that they can apply. So note those 3 things, and those are ingredients that you can be aware of when you are writing your book. We have a lot of content that we got from the Book in You podcast that I can share with anyone. We have a authors forum on WhatsApp. I do share those things, but I can reshare it in case you want it. So let's go to the. Okay. Yes, Christina.
Yes, I just want to write it down. There's 3 that you just mentioned. 3 things that you just mentioned.
And the 3 things are points for the heart, and points for the head, points for the head. That means points appeal to the intellect. When you make a point, that's what Coach Remy was saying, that she was making points. She's a C person. She makes a lot of points. Yeah. But the second one is pictures for the heart. So pictures are stories and illustrations.
Okay.
stories and illustrations.
Right.
Yes, stories and illustrations. And then the third one is practice for the hands.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you want to give people things that steps, practical steps, actionable steps that they can apply.
Makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah, actionable steps that they can apply. Yeah. So I'm gonna say that. So let's go to Dr. Ayo. Yeah. And I'm putting you on the spot now. Can you tell us what you are working on and when do you plan to do it? This is not to put anybody down. This is to encourage us. This is what we're doing on this forum to really encourage one another. Dr. Ayo, can you hear me, please? Okay, let me go to Coach.
I can get them.
Okay, Dr. Ayo.
Hi, Dr. Mike.
Yes. Can you tell us
Sorry,
what you're working on and when should we be expecting the baby?
I'm working on my book right now. In fact, I'm working on 2 books separately.
Okay.
One on communication and one on parenting.
Wow.
Yes.
So when is the EDD?
The EDD, the expected date of, is it delivery of the child?
Expected day of delivery of the book. In this forum, your book is your child.
Okay. So my initial is before the end of the year.
Okay.
For at least the first book.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, before the end of the year, the first book. Can you tell us the title, please?
The title of the book, I have different titles
Okay.
for the book. And I'm still trying to determine which one
okay.
It should be. Yes.
So okay, let's
it's on parenting.
Okay, before the end of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
So we should have it before the parental conference.
That's next year's parental conference.
No, this year, December 21.
Oh, yes, absolutely. By
One
God's
of our
grace,
speakers is already here. Pastor Tony will be speaking in that conference.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hello, Pastor Tony.
Yeah. You will get to know. Yeah, you'll get to know.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm in the car. I was bringing my daughter from school, so
it's okay. Yeah. So, but December 21 and before then, is that fair enough?
Yes, that is fair. Thank you for putting me on the spot.
Yeah, sure. Really, listen. This is the only way it works, because, like I said, when we give a deadline, your brain cells come alive to make it a reality. This is how it works. You have to set a deadline. Without a deadline, you're heading for a dead hand. Yeah. So we have to set a deadline. Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Ayo. So I just keep it right now before December 21st. Okay, let's go to Coach Terry. How are you, sir? Coach Terry, can you hear me?
I am well. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Better than good. Yeah.
Awesome. It was great to see you all at the IMC. So.
Awesome. Same here. Your cowboy hat. We didn't know where you put it.
Yes.
So Coach Terry, can you tell us what you're working on now? Yeah.
So thank you for the post the other day about setting a deadline, because that helped and it got a little fire under me. I am working on the book, The Post-Pandemic Principle, because I'm an educator, and it was the post-pandemic principle, 5 strategies to reset, realign, and redefine our schools, culture, and climate. However, we're several years out, because I started writing this book kind of like right after the pandemic, but now we're a few years out, and I'm thinking about changing the title to The Post-Pandemic Principle, Leading with Compassion and Precision. And compassion will be the heart, and precision would be with metrics.
Wow, that was good. And Coach Terry has already written 2 books. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, he has already done 2 books. So this will be the 3rd effort. So when is the deadline? When are you talking about? Because I learned from when. Pastor Tony taught me the when. So the when factor. Until we say when, we hindsight nothing. Yeah.
Well, because I finished writing it, I need to go back and add some things in about compassion and precision. And I think I can do that relatively quick.
Yeah, when?
I think I'm gonna go with November 1st.
Okay, November 1st. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
And I want to just add a little encouragement for the people who are writing the book about children and parenting. Like, this is the book that I wrote right here.
Wow.
And it's 10 strategies for developing resilient and confident children.
Wow.
And this book, with no marketing, this book has profited me probably about $700 already.
Hmm.
And I know I could do more if I did some marketing and really put it out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And there are not many stories in here at all. And I literally wrote this book because parents are so busy, almost like Facebook posts. Like, and I'm just going to show you very briefly. Like, this is the first chapter. The four
Wow.
most important words you can say to a child is, "I believe in you."
Wow. Wow.
And then the next 2 pages is, what does that mean? And that's kind of what parents need. They you probably can't see it, but those are the next 2 pages right there. And then I go into the next chapter. It's a very thin book.
Okay.
So, you know, I mean, you can go in depth with it if you want to.
Where is it? Where is the book available?
It's on Amazon.
Okay.
It's on Amazon,
So
but I've got
the name again. The name again. The name of the book.
10 Strategies for Developing Resilient and Confident Children. And when I first did it, I was like, oh, Terry, you should do more. It should be thicker. You should have more in there. But then I thought about the clients that I serve and the communities that I've worked in. Those parents are working sometimes 2 or 3 jobs to keep the families going.
Wow.
And they need some snippets that they can kind of like grab and move with. And another strategy in there is like, teach your children what you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because research shows that children that get out in the world and they don't know how to do chores, they don't know how to grocery shop, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean, how to organize a home, that they're more stressed and they don't regulate very well. So we can go real deep, but it's also good to just go on and push it out there and not overthink it, because you'd be surprised at how many parents that they don't have any strategies. And once I became a real estate investor and started renting property, and I started going into homes after parents had moved out, and what I would see was that they had no systems in place.
Wow.
No skills for how to manage that home. Stuff was just everywhere. And you can't say that, oh, well, this person was just nasty. I could say that. No, they didn't have the skills, because if they had the skills, they would have put them in place to use
That's
them.
good. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, Coach Terry. Coach Terry, I think your background, if I'm right, is a school principal.
Yes, I'm a school principal, district office level, and I taught students with learning disabilities and special education.
Are you in elementary, middle school?
Elementary, middle, and high school. So I've been at all 3 levels, and I've also taught doctoral students.
Okay, that's is it in Texas?
No, Tennessee and Mississippi.
Okay, got you. Okay.
And Missouri.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much for that, sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Let's zoom to Coach Tina. Coach Tina, the last time you mentioned a beautiful book. So how far, where are you at in that journey?
Oh
Coach
my
Tina,
God.
she lives in Maryland. She's a Maslow certified speaker, coach, and trainer. Yeah.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm sorry. I'm totally not in a good, I guess, picture.
Don't worry, as long as we can hear your voice. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things I said last week, which I was challenged, with, was actually to be able to come up with an outline, and it gave me straight up where I can get an outline, which I did right away.
Okay.
But I'm also guilty of the fact that I did not move forward from there. So definitely I need another goal today. Oh, God help me.
Okay, so when is your timeline?
My timeline initially actually was supposed to be November.
Okay.
And when I heard today the process from what the presenter, or at least the special guest, I realized that I did need more time, because she had outlined some things I never thought about. I've never written about.
So you got so much value from today.
Absolutely, sir, every day.
Wow. Are you gonna get your recording too? Yeah.
Absolutely, by God's grace. So yes, I'm going to extend that. I definitely want to get done by December.
Okay.
That's my target.
December what?
Let's make it 31st. It's going to be my new year.
Okay. It's all right. We're going to hold you accountable. Yeah. That's what we do in this forum. Yeah. So we're going to be in your corner just to encourage you. And we're going to be your CEOs. You have a lot of CEOs here, Chief Encouragement Officer, just to make sure, to cheer you up, to let you know that you can do it. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. Thank you, Coach Tina, for giving us. Remind us the name of your book again. I like the topic the last time I had it.
So it's planning, living,
yes,
and nurturing your life. It's PLAN. So it's acronym, it's PLAN. So it's planning, living, and nurturing your life.
Wow, that's
Plan
awesome.
your life. Plan your life. Yeah, plan your life.
That's good. That's good. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Okay, Coach Jim, now that you had the structure today by the guest speaker, what timeline are you thinking about, Coach Jim? Yeah.
I have set a date of November 15th.
Okay.
And I have my title. My book's going to be about loss. And
did you say November 15th?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to be able to publish it, prior to Christmas. I want it to be my gift to my 2 adult sons.
Wow.
Who lost their mother in March 2020, the week the world changed. So I have the book's going to be 10 chapters.
Okay.
I have a complete outline of my chapters. And it's going to be written about loss from the perspective of a man's point of view.
Is it loss?
Loss. My wife.
Loss. Okay, lost.
Yes.
Okay, lost. Okay.
So the umbrella in the rain is really a quick introduction about what a giver my wife was. And it's a quick story about her protecting someone who couldn't help her, but she could help him in a driving rainstorm. And so that's kind of the introduction, but it's going to be an entire book about how to deal with grief. And really, there are a lot of men who I would say are in that 45 to 65 year range that maybe they lose their wife first. Okay. And a lot of men do not know how to deal with that. And so I talk about the week the world changed and the impact of COVID. I talk about the shock, the finality, and the importance of having what I call the F file, which is funeral file. It's kind of a preparation. A lot of people don't talk about death with their spouse. I talk about family and friends, the pain in the aftermath. There's a whole year of first that you have to go through when you're going through a grief journey. A lot of people run from their grief. There's this season of reflection. I'm 4 years in now, but last year I sold my home. There's all this stuff that you accumulate. What do you do with the stuff? People don't think about these things unless you've gone through it. And I've earned the right to talk about this and write about it. And I was a lot further along with the book than I thought. And then I have a good friend who's a Christian artist. His name's Michael W. Smith. And he wrote a song called Healing Rain. And he's given me permission to use that. And I'm going to talk about how I have healed and what God has done in my life. And part of that is John Maxwell, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And the fact that I started last April and I'm certified now. And then the epilogue is really going to be about all.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But you said November 15?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So that means in the next forum in October, we're going to remind you. We always meet first Wednesday of the month. 4:30. We don't want to extend the time too long, but thank you, Coach Jimmy, for giving us your take. Then, Coach Grace, now that you know the timeline, you see the structure. Do you want to tell us your timeline, Coach Grace?
Okay, right. Okay, I'm on the spot now.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Your seat should be hot now. It should be like
yeah.
Temperature should be up now. Yeah, should be
very,
100,
very
or 150. Yeah.
So first of all, my book is about actually my original book is supposed to be a coffee table book. I'm a keen photographer and gardener. So this book was supposed to be a coffee table book initially. Then when I became a coach and leadership coach and trainer, I started to see from a different perspective how someone who's nurturing gardens, which is what I do. I even do landscaping as a hobby sometimes. How to connecting the dots between nurturing, being a leader, and all that. So that's why I thought I started to add some meat or flesh into that, connecting the dots.
Okay.
And so that's how that started. So I'm now going in that direction.
Okay.
Before it took lots of pictures of flowers. I'm a keen photographer, like I said. I've taken some amazing pictures. I've got thousands of photos in archives. But then I decided to do this. And so my timeline, I turned 60 by God's grace next year. And
congratulations. You look 16. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, well, that's June though. I thought, okay, so next year I just didn't want to have a party and just do blah, blah, blah. And then that's it. I want to do something meaningful in my 60.
Yes. Which month are you thinking about to bring out the book?
It's June, but I have a couple of activities I want to do next year, and definitely one of to release my.
So your goal is to release it by June.
By June, by God's grace, and a couple of other things which I will do next year, which I feel that will be, I'm following the John's book, The Law of Significance, in the 15. And I feel like I should do something of significance, that's a good time to do that. So this is going to be different from what I did before.
Oh, yes. That's good. Thank you for sharing this timeline with us. We want to go to Pastor Tony, and just finished a new book now. Woo! And Pastor Tony will be 70 this year. Wow, that's awesome. So Pastor Tony, you want to bring the second one before the big celebration by December, or when?
Hey, basically, I'm doing it 5 months from the September 21st. This one's coming out. Okay. And I'm looking at February 21st.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
For the next one. And it's going to be called the Fractional Thoughts of God.
Woo! Wow. That's good. That's good. That's good. Oh, that's good. Wow. This is awesome, Pastor Tony. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you for giving us the timeline. That's good. So without taking time now, I want to share with you the focus of today, and so that we can go on with this. I'll make this available. I'll share the materials. I'll send it to us so that everybody can have it. So we're looking at the blueprint for building an effective system for book writing. The main thing I just want us to know that I'm no expert. I'll keep on reminding us that I'm a learner. So I'm learning. I just read a book from one of the Maslow leadership. She reached out to me that she wanted me to be one of her advanced readers. And she did a good job. That was her first book. The book was really good, really good. And I find that a lot of people, the reason why they've not written their first book is perfection syndrome. They want to make sure that they get everything perfect. But listen, I want to tell you something. Everything is not going to be perfect. Everything. If you wait for perfection, you won't do anything. And I want to encourage you, don't forget, that's why we have book that has 2.0. The first book I ever wrote, if I want to look at it, did I really wrote this? But this is my first book I ever wrote. It looked like a booklet. But that was it. And I want to share 3 things with you all today. The first thing I want to share is start from where you are. That's all. You can start from where you are not. Start from where you are. Start from where you are. Number 2, do what you can. Do what you can. Coach Grace said, that's me. CX wants everything perfect. That's it. I mean, there's no author that I've not seen that has that, because you want to be sure that you got everything right. You got everything right. You got everything right. I want to add something. Listen, the fact that you want to add something is a proof that you are still growing. But bring something out first. Don't forget, you can upgrade later. Now, look at the first book, 2000. Look at the 2.0, 2023, 23 years after. Now, what made this different? That it's a collaboration. I got 9 students that have excellent results they agreed to work with me. Last Friday, we gave out 100 copies to students in medical school to help them in their journey. And about 10 students got a scholarship of 1.6 million naira in local currency from the sales of my book. I don't get no royalty for any of my book because I'm not writing for profit. I'm writing for the benefit of humanity. So start where you are. Number two, do what you can. Do what you can. There's something you can do with your book writing. What can you do? You can go and create a document of an idea farm. Start collecting materials related to that book. And anytime you read a book, you find an idea, put it in. You can, if you are out, put it on your phone. And when you come in, transfer it. Do what you can. Do what you can. And the last thing is use what you have. Use what you have. One of the things I want you to know that you have your brain, you have your mind, you have a community. This community, you have it. All the things we'll be sharing. And guess what? You have ChatGPT. I was working on ChatGPT yesterday. ChatGPT got tired. But guess what? I didn't get tired because I was going through Internet Explorer. Guess what I did? I went through Google Chrome and I activated my ChatGPT. I continue working. That's not the first time it has happened. ChatGPT, when you are really on it, it gets tired. Oh, that's enough for the day. But no, that's not enough for me because I have a focus to finish it up. So what I'm saying is use what you have. There's so many resources that you have. This is why we have this forum, to share resources. We're not hoarding resources. We have an abundance mindset. That's why I invited my publisher so that she can speak. It's not to sell, so that she can share with you. Because most of the time, we just need a process. I was about to make a transaction one time. I shared with someone, and she gave me an information that really freed me up. So that's the purpose of collaboration. So start where you are, do what you can, use what you have. So now let's dive into this blueprint for building an effective system for book writing. Now, writing a book is not just about setting a goal. It's about creating a system that leads you to success time and time again. So it was James Clear that said that goals are for those who care about winning once. So if you want to write one book, only one book, you can set a goal. It's okay to set a goal. But systems are for people who care about winning repeatedly. So if you are serious about living your dream of becoming an author, here's how you can build a foolproof system that will guide you through writing your first book and beyond. I told you for 20 years, I never wrote a book. So that's why I can relate. I can relate with it. But I wasn't happy. Those 20 years, I wasn't really happy. I know that's not okay. Because that is a part that was being neglected. So let's look at the first thing, the first blueprint. Number one, define your purpose and audience. Define your purpose and audience. Every book has a purpose. Now, let me tell you a secret. The book that I'm just wrapping up now, there's a purpose. So you have to ask yourself, what is the motive? Why? Why are you writing the book? Because if your why is solid, is strong, you won't get stuck. It will carry you through. So you must always remember, why are you writing this book? That's why don't write a book because it's trending. Write a book that you are passionate about. Your why must be really strong. The book I'm writing now, that I'm about to release now, my goal is before my birthday, I want to bring it out. It's called Live Life Big. Don't live your dream, live your dream. It's a book that will encourage people to stop living their dream, L-E-A-V-I, and to start living it. So the purpose have to be clear. There must be clarity and certainty of purpose. So you also have to define your audience. You have to define your audience. Who are the audience? So anytime you are writing a book, have someone in mind. You need to have an avatar. See it as if you are writing a letter to a friend. Just like Coach Remy's now, she's writing a book about moms. Just think about a friend of yours that can benefit from that book. Focus on that person. And that's what this book is all about. I'm focusing on people that are settling for average when they can live life big. But there's someone that I'm focusing on. So define your purpose and audience. Start with clarity. Know why you are writing and who you are writing for. So you have to know why you are writing and who you are writing for. A clear purpose and target audience. Provide direction and motivation. So this is why you can get stuck when you have clarity of why you are writing and who you are writing for. Number 2, establish a writing routine. Establish a writing routine. Now, the key thing in book writing is this. We are not always motivated every day. We are not always motivated every time. The only thing that will carry us through is our habit and our routine. Habit is the compound interest for self-improvement. Habit is the compound interest. For instance, one of the habits that I have is I read 9 books every day. I'm not saying I finish 9 books every day. I read from them. For instance, now, I just pick up this book, High Road Leader by Dr. John Maxwell, Jesus the High Road Leader. I just finished it today. And anytime I finish a book, there's a replacement book. So I'm replacing it with this book. I bought this book a long time. I've not read it in my lazy days. But now, this book is replacing that. And anytime I finish a book, I have an accountability group that I make a report. It's called Train. Train is a forum, just like this is a forum. Train is a forum for my reading. Train means the readers addict, inspired nation, people that are addicted to reading. So that's what the train is. And the train is always on the movies and Amtrak. We fast track, because the main thing is community is the key to thrive. Because I know I'm accountable to a community, it keeps me on my feet. I invest 2 hours every day for those 9 books. Pastor Tony, the last time I came to your place, I brought all my books. They're like my babies. I carry them around with me. So it's very important to have that. So the reason for book reading is your own personal growth. You have to continue to grow. So establish a writing routine. You need to have a routine for your writing. You can put it every day. Make your routine every day. It doesn't matter. It's not the volume. Just make up your mind that today I'm going to write. It might just be a page. So establish a routine, a writing routine. Consistency is key. Set a daily or weekly schedule and stick to it. So you are the one that can define how long you want to put to it. Yeah. Number 3, create a writing environment. Create a writing environment. Design a space that inspires you. It should be free from distractions and filled with things that spark creativity. Your environment set the tone for your writing journey. So create a writing environment. Create a writing environment. Number 4, break down the process. Break down the process. Don't overwhelm yourself by thinking of the whole book. Break it into manageable sections, chapters, sub-chapters, or even paragraph. Focus on one piece at a time. Now, let me tell you a secret. The book I'm just wrapping up now, initially, I created an outline. I just generate an outline. I said, okay, let me see what ChatGPT will give me. But the truth is this, I never used it. I never used the outline. So what did I do? So I started book because the original idea came from me. So the book was started. I can share the book with you right now. And this is what I do with my last book before it was published. And the thing was this. So I just started that journey. You know, you can see it. You can see the stuff. Live Life Big. You can see it right now. But the thing is, when this whole journey started, it's just kind of like having that structure, something like that. So it's just having that structure in place. Then I know that, of course, I started with introduction of the book, which is clear to me. Then I begin to go. I moved to chapter 1. So I came up with that chapter. So I was doing it chapter by chapter. So I began to gain more clarity. Then I moved to chapter 2. And because don't forget, I'm thinking about the book, I'm writing about the book. So when I read, I see a lot of things that is related, something that I can use. And before you know it, I begin to get more ideas, more inspiration. Somebody invited me to come to a podcast. They said, what do I want to talk about? I said, I want to talk about my new book that I'm working on. And I did it on purpose. And because of that, guess what? That same morning, I got an inspiration for a framework for the book, because all my books have an acronym. And that's when I get the DREAM acronym. And so from chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So the DREAM acronym, DREAM is 1, D-R-E-A-M, is 5 chapters. So from that acronym, 5 chapters came out. I use 1 chapter to introduce that acronym, to give a glimpse of it. Then 5 chapters for the acronym itself. So that's 6 chapters. So that's why I said that. Think about the book, talk about the book. Anytime you're having a conversation, talk about it. The more you talk about things, the more you have clarity. The more you begin to have clarity. Never write a book that you're not talking about. Any opportunity that you have, talk about it, write about it. Like I said, I write on LinkedIn because I'm writing every week. I'm making the plan. I wrote about the book. So it's very important to just that. So that is how to break down the process. Number 5, track your progress. Track your progress. Number 5, track your progress. Use a writing journal or digital tools to keep track of your word count and progress. Celebrate small wins along the way to stay motivated and see how far you've come. So just track your progress. You have to track your progress. See how you're doing. Every day I track my progress. Like right now, yesterday after I finished chapter 11, I realized, oh, I need to add something. Chapter 11 is the mentorship factor. I need to go and add something to that. So during my inspiration moment, my regular personal development moment, so I begin to come up with new ideas, what I can write. So I begin to make some notes. So these are the notes that I was making, things that I'm going to add to it. Now, once we're done with this meeting, this is a disclosure. I'm here to eat my breakfast and I'm not fasting. So once I eat my breakfast, I know what Jesus said, that my meat is to do the work of God and finish it. I'm not recommending it to anyone because I drink water to keep on. But the main thing I want you to know is this. Think, talk, speak about your book. Let it get into your conversation. When you do that, guess what? You will start attracting materials for that book. So track your progress. Number 6, seek feedback and revise. Now, I want to give you a statement. Writing is rewriting. Writing.
Say that again, Doc.
Seek feedback and revise. Seek feedback. Seek feedback and revise. Yeah. Seek feedback. Now, one of the ways to get a feedback is if you speaking somewhere, talk about the book. Most of the things that I pull out, I've already talked about it, and I see the way people respond to it. Speak about it. People, they won't know what you are doing, but you know what you are doing. Like Coach Remy, you got so much content. Don't be afraid that if I talk about it, somebody else will copy it. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Speak about it. Talk about the book. Because the more you talk about the book, the more it comes into your consciousness. Most of the time, books are in our subconscious. So we make the subconscious conscious when we have conversation on that book. So the more you talk about it, maybe you have any opportunity, give them that any podcast, talk about the book. You will have more ideas. Ideas will start popping up. So seek feedback and revise. Writing is rewriting. Share your draft with trusted peers or mentors to get constructive feedbacks. Revisions are not setbacks. They are stepping stones for a stronger manuscript. When I finish my book, I have 2 friends that go over it. I have 2 editors. I give them the permission to go over the book. One of them is liberal, one of them is conservative, and they have 2 different approaches. So by the time the books come back to me, I can now zero in on the final correction before it goes to the publisher. So, and that's the power of feedback. Number 7, set milestones. Focus on achieving key milestones. So you have to set the milestones. Maybe you plan that, okay, I want to finish, I'm on chapter 1 now. I want to finish this chapter. Like now I have an epilogue for that book. That chapter 11, I just came up with, during my study time that I got to add something there. Then the epilogue. In fact, the epilogue, I have a clarity of what I'm going to write. It was not when I was writing, it was after I finished the book, I was reflecting on the book, then I have clarity on what the epilogue is going to be on. And guess what? The 2 people I'm dedicating the book to, it was during my reflection time that it came clear. Because I know that every book has a purpose. Like this one now, I'm dedicating it to Dr. Miles Monroe and Dr. David Oyedepo. Those 2 people, they are the ones that fit into that book. Every book, one of my books was dedicated to Pastor Tony and the wife, the beautiful people. So every book has a purpose. Every book has a direction. So now, number 8, stay inspired and educated. Surround yourself with books. That means, you see, a lot of times, like I was telling myself a lie last year that I'm writing books, I can't read books. And I realized that when I started reading books the way I'm doing now, I'm having more ideas for my book. In fact, my last book, The Area Code, my editor said that was the best book so far. Even my wife, when she was reading it, she said, this is the best book that you've written so far. And it shows because you need to stay educated. That means keep growing yourself. Don't say because you're writing, you writing books, you can read books. No, keep growing yourself. Surround yourself with books, podcasts, and resources that fuels your passion and expand your knowledge. A well-fed mind is a creative mind. So you have to feed your mind. So I keep on feeding my mind. In fact, this book that I'm writing, from one of Dr. John Maxwell's book, I was able to get something that was very relevant to what I was writing. So don't forget, a well-fed mind is a creative mind. A well-fed mind is a creative mind. So keep feeding your mind. Then number 9, build a support system. That's why we have the Authors Forum. That's why we have it. So join writing groups. In fact, it was recommended here. Or find accountability partners who understand your journey and can offer support, encouragement, and motivation. So this is why we have the platform. And the last one, number 10, embrace flexibility and adapt. Embrace flexibility and adapt. Be open to changes and new ideas. I remember when I finished my last book, because of flexibility, I have to start with a story. If I have to tell the publisher that, please, sorry, I forgot. I want this book to start with this. And that's what happened. And he said, oh, that wasn't there before. I said, yes, I'm putting it there now. The book has not gone out yet. Because I don't want the book to be boring. So I started the book with a story of the Home Depot. That's the way I open up the book. So I have to push what was meant to be the introduction. I push it to chapter 1. Then I created a new introduction. It was not in the manuscript that she got before. So you have to embrace flexibility and adapt. Be open to changes and new ideas. As long as the book is not out yet, you can still make changes. Your system should evolve as you grow as a writer. Flexibility allows you to adjust and stay on course even when life happens. So what that means is this: the more books you do, the better you become. Like I said, this is a muscle you're building. Don't be caught up in perfection syndrome. Your book writing dream is within reach. Build the system, trust the process, and watch your dream becomes a reality. So I'll take any question before we go. Any question, please?
State number 9 again, Doc.
Number 9 is build a support system. And we already have that through the Authors Forum. That's why we have the Authors Forum, because people were asking me one-on-one and to share with them. I said, well, I'd rather have a forum where I can share with many people than just with one person. That's why we started this Authors Forum. Yeah. Any question, please? Because I know our time is off today. Sorry about that. You know, we have a guest. We have a guest.
I want an opinion. So because this book, I'm writing it to moms, but what have been happening as I work with families is that most times the dads are taking the back bench. And one of my coach recently told me, Remy, we must stop the pandemic of dads not participating actively in parenting. So for that reason, I'm trying to perhaps go and reward my writing to not just for mothers.
For parents.
Before I said successful moms, but I want to change it to successful parents, because the dads that have engaged in my coaching system, they have grown a lot just by participating in the process. So I think that's a good idea. Opinion on that.
I think that's a good idea, so that you won't limit your reach. Just like we having a conference this Saturday, and before our focus was on women. Then one of our team leaders said that, why don't we open it up to men and women? So instead of calling it Made for More Global Women Conference, we now call it Global Leadership. We took the women out, we put leadership in. So like I said, that's evolution, evolving, just because now that you expand it, but when you are making notes for parents, make sure you include, and that, include foster parent. You just put that umbrella, grandparent and all that. So you just have that umbrella to include that as part of the conversation, or guidance, or anyone that is, so you can just this book is not only for mom and dad, but anyone that is occupying the parental shoe, like guardian, foster parent, so that can have a wide reach and acceptance. Does that make sense? Pastor Tony can speak to that, because he got more experience right here than me.
Yeah, I believe that does, because what happens, the wider reach that you can deal with, the better. And that's one thing that falls. You're talking about parents, grandparents. I mean, even when you say parents, that covers even godparents. I mean, so therefore it can just broaden the actual space of people that can be reached. Because sometimes if it's limited, then people say they'll not read it from the get, because they'll say, "Oh, this mom, it's for women."
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're right. I tell you, Pastor Tony, he's loaded. Don't worry. You're going to hear Pastor Tony at the parental conference. A lion doesn't need introduction. You just have to let him loose.
Lord, have mercy, sir.
I'm setting you up, Pastor Tony. I'm setting you up for December 21. So any question, we're gonna go now. Our time is up. Like I said, we had a guest today. That's why we got more time. Normally we spend 1 hour, but since it's been recorded, and I believe this has been a real blessing. Closing comment, Coach Jim, closing comment.
No, just thank you. I just, the structures really helped. And like you said, it's all about accountability. And I'm just very grateful to everyone on the call. Since this is going to be my first book. So thank you.
Awesome. We're glad to celebrate your first book. You know what? So somebody said, I think that was Elon Musk. He said, all that people do is just baby shower. That they should be doing a business shower. Someone is doing a book. And I said, We should be doing a book shower too. Yeah.
That's
So
good. That's good.
guess what? I'm planning a book shower in Philadelphia, where I'm going to introduce my book to the public. They will attend a Live to Lead, and they will get 7 copies of my book. Yeah, as part of the ticket that they're paying for. Yeah, they will pay $150. They will get lunch, breakfast, and 7 copies of the book. And then content. They'll listen to people like John Maswell, John Gordon, Dante Lowey, and all that. Because the system is this. I want people to go on with something that, listen, I mean, the books alone have covered the cost. But the reason is that when people read your book, it's not about the money. It's all about the message. They become an evangelist. Do you get me? I went to Georgia. I took 100 of my books. They bought 54. That's $810. And do you know where that book can travel to? So it can travel far and wide. And we are able to use that money to give scholarship to 9 kids that are about to be kicked out of school. Yeah. So, and that's the power of the distance. Pastor Tony, closing comment quickly.
Yeah, I know, Doc, what I really see, I want to thank you and appreciate and seeing the growth and development. And this is a good thing. And what comes to my mind, this is an ID farm. And know what the ID farm is? I is intentional and discipline. And the intentional discipline that is dealt with to cause us to spur us in a collective way. Because I think, and I think that's so huge, and I appreciate just everyone on too. And so I think you said it one time. I forgot. You said if you want to go alone, you can go fast. Yeah. But if you want to go far, you go with a group.
With people. Yes, sir.
With people. And and so therefore I think that's so important. And I appreciate just the time of being on here.
Yes, sir.
For even the opportunity that you have availed, and it's a good thing.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you, Pastor. We appreciate you being here so much. Yeah, we thank you for your time. Yeah. Coach Grace, closing comment. Coach Grace is one of our top-notch leader in the LAM global community. Yeah, you muted. Yeah.
Hi. Well, I just really want to thank you, Dr. Mike, because honestly, I've just been floundering a little bit, but this is great. I really needed this. And you're helping us really. Like John Maxwell said, we are people of value.
Yes.
Who value people and add value to others so that they can multiply that value to other people. Yes, today, they really added value to us, and we're definitely going to do. I have to speak for myself. So this is it. The heat is on.
That's good. That's good. This is game changer. That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, Coach Remy. Closing comment.
Thank you so much for this forum. I think I'm going to run with what Pastor Tony said. That intentionality is what must be in the forefront. In fact, one of the chapters in my book said, I was asking the question, what's the legacy question? So if I can put that in the front of my mind, I need to run, because answering that legacy question means I need to get it out. Especially one of the people I'm dedicating it to, she's in her 80s. I'm like, last night I was washing dishes. I'm like, Remy, write this book before this woman goes to heaven. So that's I better.
That's a motivation now.
That's a motivation. Yes, thank you so much for this.
Maybe you have to do it before the end of the year, because March is too long. Yeah, maybe you want to revisit that date. But Coach Remy, to be real with you, you can finish this book before the end of the year. For real.
I would
even if for that 80-year-old woman, because you just mentioned that was not part of the contest before. You just brought that one in there. So you can think about it. Yeah. If all you have left is story, I don't think you need that long time. Yeah. But it's up to you. You got to decide. Yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, you're welcome. Coach Tina. Coach Dr. Tina. And Dr. Tina has a PhD. Yeah. How are you?
I just want to thank you and the entire team contribution and the fact that you're pushing us. I really appreciate your time and for getting us together. God bless you. And it's been quite interesting for me. A blessing. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you can always contact us if you need us. Coach Tina, Yeah, you just in Maryland, not far. I do live to lead in Maryland every year. So we will
Oh,
talk.
wow.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
talk.
talk. Yeah, we'll
We'll
talk.
talk.
After the next week, I'll be available. Yeah, this week is busy for the conference. Coach Terry, you so amazing. You look like Deion Sanders when I saw you in Florida with your hat. Tell us your closing comment, please, before we go.
Well, thank you for this, and thank you for pushing us to set a deadline. I'm definitely on it. I'm going to push for November 1st.
Yes,
and
sir.
just thank you for this encouragement and this accountability piece.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. And I want to thank you, everyone. My name is Dr. Michael, and I approve this message. Thank you so much. We're in election time now.